This is Comic Picks by the Glick.
Hey, and I'm your host, Jason Glick.
Hey, Jason. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing fine. And it's back to the big well of stuff that I bought at Comic-Con for this week's reviews. Because, yeah, it's like if you looked at the list I had, then you'll probably notice that there was one series that I bought more volumes of than any other. It's like that was Knights of the Old Republic, Star Wars tie-in published by Dark Horse, which is based on the video game. So, by logic would tend to dictate that, it's a licensed spin-off of a licensed spin-off. Mm-hmm. So, Diminishing Returns should, in theory, be setting in pretty quickly. But I've had a buddy of mine talk up the series for like the past year or so, and I did enjoy the tie-in issues that were collected in the Vector crossover, which Dark Horse tied in all four of their ongoing Star Wars titles at the time too. So I figured, hey, it's like, what's the best way to jump into this is to just go to Comic-Con, find a lot of them in the half-off bins, and then go from there. Okay, now the story isn't an adaptation or a direct tie-in to the Knights of the Old Republic video game, which for my money is the best Star Wars movie released since Empire. It's absolutely fantastic storytelling. If you haven't played it, I highly recommend you do. John, have you played it?
No, I have not.
Okay, well,
you highly recommend that I do.
highly recommend you do if they ever release, like, if they can ever negotiate a downloadable version for Xbox Live or something.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but still, this version they got here is essentially a prequel. It takes place a couple years before the events of the video game, and while you will see familiar characters, it doesn't focus on them. The main character of the series is a young Jedi Padawan named Zane Carrick, who basically kind of defines the term likably pathetic. He's he means well. He always tries to do the right thing, but he just doesn't have the skills in order to pull off any spectacular feats of daring do or Jedi mind tricks. For instance, we're introduced to him as he's running afoul of his constant quarry, a furry grifter named Marn Hieroglyph, and they kind of got like a Coyote and Roadrunner relationship going, with Zane being the Coyote and Marn being the Roadrunner. And even though Zane still can't catch this guy, he still has to attend the knighting ceremony for all the Padawans later this night. Now, Zane's kind of like in the as mentioned, he's kind of like on the low end of the scale here, so he's just kind of resigned to the fact that, hey, I'm just gonna show up, just not get picked, and just then go make a night of things.
Right.
So but then, much to his surprise, when he shows up at the ceremony and finds that all the other Jedi Masters there have slain their Padawans. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Not wanting to stick around, Zane hightails it out of there. Winds up hooking up with Griff, and then making a valiant escape of things, because now he's got to go and find out why his masters killed the Padawans and now want him dead as well. Now we know this because apparently they've had a Force vision of a mysterious figure who's going to bring down the Republic, and so they figure, and they thought it was going to be one of their Padawans, and with Zane being the one who got away, their sights are now set squarely on him. Now they haven't quite gone over the dark side yet, because they still vigorously believe that they're doing the right thing, but still it's really hard it's really hard to find any moral ambiguity in this kind of argument right here. Yeah, still, the series is overall pretty entertaining. It's not great storytelling by any means, but it's still entertaining enough if you like Star Wars stuff. I mean, I still think John Ostrander's work in the Clone Wars and Legacy is like the best of the business, but writer John Jackson Miller does a pretty good job here. I mean, first of all, he does a great job in creating these characters. Like Zane, as I said, he's likably pathetic. I mean, and it's not to the point where you get some loser hero who like that kid from Kick-Ass, who you just think that's so pathetic you just want to smack him around a couple times. But Zane I mean, he actually, it's like he does. I mean, like, he actually does succeed in doing the right thing, but he just doesn't have the presence or the skills to be as cool or as successful as he'd like to be. But still, it's like it's fun to watch him succeed in spite of himself most times. And his buddy Griff, even though he's like this standard like your standard like oh, I'm trying to work every angle here and like trying to get the best deal type of character, like he still winds up being likable because even when like things are at their grimmest, he still winds up finding a way to do the right thing, ultimately do the right thing and help people out. And the relationship that he and Zane develop over the course of the series is actually pretty impressive because like the more they learn about each other, the more they get like kind of like a mutual respect. And Griff learns to appreciate Zane's earnestness. Zane learns to appreciate Martin's cunning and scheming. And it's fun to see them grow over the course of the series. You also get other characters like the mysterious Jariel. It's like one of the who's living with the equally mysterious camper, senile electronics genius in the bottom of the terrorist city. You've got Jariel, the mysterious Mandalorian death commando. Let's see, and also some familiar faces from the video games as well. Like I like seeing Cartho Nasty, who really is like in the game like this. He's just kind of like your standard boring BioWare lead male character, but whose most entertaining moment in the game is when you're playing the dark side role and you can send him running off into the wilds in his underwear if you know how to work things. Here, when he shows up, he actually winds up being kind of cool and heroic in this case. But also you get to see what Malak, or Darth Malak as he's called in the games, was like before he went over to the dark side here. And while he was definitely like a very heroic Jedi, there's bits of proactiveness and anger to his manner that basically you look at this and think, yeah, I can definitely see how he becomes this guy later on. And another thing I liked about the series is, like, in addition to tying into the video game, it also ties into like the Tales of the Jedi comics that Dark Horse has published over the years. Now, I've talked about these before, and yes, I realize that they were actually quite terrible. They're still some of the first comic books I read, and I've always gonna have a soft spot towards them. So to see John Jackson Miller working familiar characters like Master Arca, Ulic Keldroma, and Exar Kun, it's like into the story, as well as making lots of references to Exar Kun's fabled Sith War. It's it just warmed my heart with a nice. It warmed my fanboy heart.
Yeah,
so.
the cockles of your fanboy heart.
yes, it touched the cockles in a very special manner. Yeah. So overall, it's like I can't say this is like we're not must-buy stuff, but hey, it's like if you're a Star Wars fan, you find these things in the half-off bins, then hey, it's like it's worth your time to pick them up because volumes 1 through 9. It's like still it tells a good story overall, even though it's kind of interesting to see that the main story of Zane's quest to clear his name and expose the wrongdoings of his masters is wrapped up in Volume 6. Now it comes to a satisfying ending, but then it kind of goes. Then there's 3 more volumes after that, which rather than kill time, they actually serve to just tie up some loose plots in the series. So even though it's like the main story wraps up, the subsequent volumes are still pretty entertaining, and it does come to a nice, satisfying conclusion in Volume 9. Even though I like some of the twists they do in the last volume, Jackson Miller winds up clobbering you over the head with exposition in certain parts in order to get across some of the twists that he's been setting up since the very beginning of the series. Yeah, but he's also aided and abetted by some very talented artists over the course of the series. Chief among them is Brian Ching, who does some nice pencil artwork, which it doesn't look like it's been inked, but it's like the coloring is superb to the point where it reminds me of Kerry Nord's work on Dark Horse's Conan series, only applied to the familiar Star Wars stuff, and it looks great whenever he's doing it, and more often than not, they do the creators do find some able fill-in artists whenever he's not around. There's also along with the aside from Ching, you've also got Bong Dazo, who it's not even got a funny name. He's got like a slightly cartoonish art style that doesn't quite mesh well with Ching's more photorealistic style, but he's still a capable storyteller, and it's still cool to see his interpretations of the characters. And also, then you've also got other artists like Dustin Weaver and Trevor Foreman doing fill-ins. So overall, you got a book that even though it doesn't have this consistently regular artists for the most part, it still looks good from beginning to end. So overall, it's not like I said, it's not bad, but it's also kind of illustrates kind of the things that I like things I could pick up when I go to Comic-Con. I mean, stuff that just something that it's I've heard I'm kind of on the fence about, but I want to give it a try at a reduced price.
At a reduced price. That's the key.
Yes, and that's what I got here. So overall, like I said, it's good, and really it's far better than a licensed spin-off of a licensed spin-off. Should be, and I have to admit, that I've read this, I am interested in reading John Jackson Miller's new Star Wars series coming out later this year called Knight Errant, which takes place about 1,000 years prior to the events of the regular Star Wars movies. So we'll see how that goes. And also, just want to let people know, in case this is coming up in a couple months, but Dark Horse apparently heard my pleas last year for an edition of John Ostrander's Clone Wars comics that he wrote together, because while I love the stuff he did in the Clone Wars series, all the other stuff is just ranges from okay to kind of blah. The volume is called Qui-Gon. God damn it. Sorry, the name just escaped me right now. Give me a second to think about it. Oh. All right, I got it. Okay, the volume is called Quinlan Vos, Jedi in Darkness. It's going to collect all of the material that Ostrander has written for him, along with the promise of 120 pages never collected before. So, on one hand, it's if I'd known that was coming, I probably would have skipped on picking up the extra volumes this year at the con. But still, it's gonna sound like it's gonna be a fantastic volume. And even though I've pretty much already bought most of these, I figure if I can get it for $6 at the Dark Horse table next year, might look good on my wall. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And on that note, I'm going to wrap it up. And next week, we're going to talk about the great subject known as global manga.
Global manga. All right.
Yes.
Fantastic. All right. We'll see you next time.
Later,
guys.